Yeah, I messed it up. It's been a month, so it is what it is. I'm gonna start again. Hi, and welcome to Not the Fuck Gaming Podcast, a podcast where we talk about games and sometimes we don't say fuck. I am William Hououin, and I'm with.
Gruebitten.
And today we have a special guest, which is.
Hey, I'm does not equal, aka Brad.
Well, hello, Brad. So, you're Gru's friend, and
Yeah.
I've seen that you started some YouTube channel and stuff. Why don't you talk to us about that?
Well, I've been keeping a blog on WordPress since 2011 called One Man in Japan. So onemaninjapan.wordpress.com. And one of my coworkers last year recommended I start a YouTube channel. I thought about it for a while, and I actually created it last June, but it wasn't until last week that I started actually uploading videos to it. It's just the companion YouTube channel. It's also called One Man in Japan. If you can't find it, I'm not sure what to say.
Well, I'm gonna put all the links in the description of the video, so it's gonna be very easy to find it. And you know, I've been aware of those channel and blogs just for the past like 20 minutes. But I went and looked at it, and it's pretty interesting. Your first article of your gaming blog is Konami sucks, and it spoke to me quite a bit because I've been playing quite a bit of Castlevania games, and I wish they would be doing something else than pachinko machines with the Castlevania franchise.
But you did not read the blog entry.
No, I did not. I mean, it's been 20 minutes since I've discovered all of this. So, I mean, it's, I did not read the whole article, just read the text. But,
Now, what I say about the whole
text, the
pachinko
title.
machines, what I say about the pachinko machines in that one, because that's not necessarily the first one. It's WordPress does newest first. So that's actually my most recent. But the deal with pachinko machines, though, because a lot of people like to say, you know, oh yeah, Konami, they only do pachinko machines. And the thing is, when it comes to pachinko machines, anything goes. It could be new, it could be old, it can be games, it could be anime, it can be active licenses, and it can be nearly dead licenses. I mean, I've seen 2000s era anime pachinko machines for stuff that's just not current anymore. But I've also seen advertisement for a Tekken pachinko machine just the other day. So when it comes to pachinko, there's nothing that's off limits. It doesn't matter.
It's quite interesting to get the take of somebody's that's there, you know, on the site. This is great. Well, I recommend everybody to go read that article. It seems it's worth a read, and I promise I'll go read it. I just didn't have the time. But so here we tend to get to know our guest with what they've been playing lately. You know, we get to know each other through the games we play. So have you been playing any games lately? Any video games?
Well, I have been kind of keeping up with Fallout 76. Don't laugh. I've actually got a post about that. I've actually got a post about that one. I waited until Fallout 76 stopped being a bad game. It's actually not so bad these days. I tend to keep up with my dailies. I don't really do so many quests anymore. I mostly just enjoy building and modifying my camp. Funny enough, it's a little more of a post-apocalyptic life sim, but mostly it takes place in West Virginia, and that's where I'm from. So.
Oh well, this is interesting. But no, I won't laugh. It was quite a failure at launch, but I know they worked on it quite a bit. So,
well, I mean, all of the updates are at this point. All of the major updates are free. The huge content drops. The latest one, you can actually take a trip to Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh wasteland, to help people out. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, this is nice.
It sounds like a game I might be interested in playing because I love the survival thing and I love post-apocalyptic stuff. And
Yeah, from what I've seen, you might enjoy Fallout 76. Actually,
Well, I mean, you have
um,
to keep your hunger and your thirst meters full, but honestly, once you figure the game out, it's pretty easy to just make sure you've got plenty of food and drink. In my camp, I have, I believe, 15 water coolers that produce a maximum of 2 things of purified water, and I never run out of things. I never run out of things to drink. And if you know where there are some animals to kill, they will respawn. Just take them home and basically cook them up, and you've got food.
yeah.
Nice.
Gruebitten doesn't have any issues with hunger and thirst meter. I do. I'm not a fan. This is why I enjoyed Dismantle so much, because it was like a post-apocalyptic survival game, but without any survival aspect to it, if that makes any sense.
Well,
This was
like the nice
great.
thing is though that you can eventually get like currently in my camp, aside from the water coolers, I've also got a popcorn machine and a coffee maker. So every so often, every several minutes, they will produce popcorn or coffee, kind of like the water coolers. They just constantly produce resources. And I've also got a robot that it's a communist collectron station. You can get all sorts of different collectrons, and this one collects periodically food and drink, like prepared food and drink. Don't ask me where it finds it, but it shows up in the hopper. You can get food and drink out. So my character
All
never
right.
goes hungry or thirsty.
Yeah,
Mostly
this is good
living on
news.
popcorn and coffee, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean,
I
periodically
mean,
there are rad stags around my camp, and I kill them off and cook up the meat, and so I got grilled rad stag. Woohoo!
it's post-apocalypse. It's not that bad that you have access to coffee and popcorn when you think about it.
Well, yeah, you
Hey,
can. I mean, you can build whatever.
sounds like my diet on a regular basis.
All right. Have you been playing anything else?
Yeah, I actually just bought Disaster Report 4 Summer Memories last week, and I started it, and I haven't really gotten as far into it as I'd like. I like the Disaster Report series. The first 2 were on the PlayStation 2. The actual title of the series is Zettai Ditsume Toshi, which is like City of Absolute Peril. But I guess that didn't go over well. So Disaster Report was the first game, and it was a little clunky because I mean it's PS2 era, and it was made. It's a big game, but didn't have a huge budget. The second game also got put out from I want to say a different company, and instead of just calling it Disaster Report 2 or whatever, they gave it the absolute worst name of Raw Danger.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't sound that
Yeah.
great.
Oh,
Thing is, I'd
yeah.
Well,
love to go back and play those. I'd love to go back and play them because, I mean, now, I think I could do better, but they have not been ported over to any sort of, PlayStation Legacy or on demand. The third game was a PSP exclusive in Japan. I have that one, but I haven't really sunk my teeth into it. And then the same company came out with a game called, what is it? Koe no Toshi, basically a City of Shadows. And it's very Disaster Report, except you have classic movie monsters. So classic movie monsters and mechs. So Godzilla, Pet Labor, Ultraman, Evangelion. You run into all of these things as you're just trying to survive as all of these movie and anime monsters just show up and basically wreck shop.
I'm
Sounds like
looking right
fun.
now
That
at
one I did.
some. I'm looking at some stuff about Disaster Report on PlayStation 2. I'm gonna put some footage in the podcast. Like right now, there will be some Disaster Report videos playing, just so people
Yeah.
can see what it's like. And yeah, PSP. I was a big fan of the PSP, and I'm one of the few people that have a PlayStation Vita. Actually, I have 2 PlayStation Vita, and
I have
I love it.
3.
Yeah,
I have
I
3
love
PlayStation
the
Vitas
Vita.
and 3 PlayStation Vita TVs. I got kind of obsessed a few years ago.
Yeah, well, you did good because right now it's kind of hard to find. So,
Well, and they're super expensive here. Like even if you go to a used store, they're freakishly expensive.
yeah,
The PSP Goes are expensive. PlayStation Vita TVs are expensive, and PlayStation Vitas are still fairly expensive.
it was a great console. I love portable gaming, and the Vita was fantastic, really. It's
No,
such a
it
shame.
was pretty hard.
It's such a shame that it didn't went well.
Weren't you doing some sort of thing that ports old console games recently?
Yeah, I bought in a kind of an emulator portable console, Anbernic something. I'll post a pic. This little thing plays ROMs, mostly Game Boy Advance and Super Nintendo stuff. And I've been playing the GBA Castlevanias on it, like Harmony of Dissonance and Aria of Sorrow. And I've enjoyed both quite a bit. And you know, Harmony of Dissonance have a really bad reputation, but I've enjoyed it a lot. Any of you played that?
No, not me.
I'm not really a Castlevania guy. I
Yeah,
will say
well,
though, I remember that like once Konami started putting the Castlevanias on handhelds, Castlevania enjoyed kind of a renaissance. I mean, it was GBA and DS had a bunch of apparently really quality Castlevania games on them.
yes, indeed. I am very looking forward to a re-release of the DS Castlevania games. Never played them, and I know they did the GBA collection lately, but I'm really. It's just I don't know how they will port. You know, the Nintendo DS had 2 screens, one of which was touch screen. I don't know how they can port it, but I do hope they do. I would love to play those games.
I suppose
I'm
if they're on
quite.
the Switch, they can do it side by side.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, they could. Well, I really hope. I'm a big fan of those types of games, side scroller, Metroidvania games. One of my favorite, and I mean, people will throw me. We will get some hate comments maybe, and that will help my channel. So I'm gonna say it. I truly believe that the best Castlevania game is actually Bloodstained: Ritual of the Night, which is not really a Castlevania game, but it's made by the same people. Well, the same lead people, and I really enjoyed Bloodstained. I'm playing it almost daily for the past like 2 years. So this is
Nice.
really my game.
That's devotion. That's devotion.
This is devotion. I really like Bloodstained, but it dragged me to play some older titles, and it's nice to see there's a lot of mechanics in Bloodstained that comes from old Castlevania games. It's kind of like a best of the Castlevania games. I feel you have like the soul system of Aria of Sorrow. You have the many quirks from Symphony of the Night. You have you know it's I feel it's kind of a best of. At least it is for me. I'm waiting the hate comment and death threats and stuff. But yeah.
You ever play Shadow Complex?
No, but I know what it is. I know it's a Metroidvania with guns. I know what it is.
Nolan North as the main character.
Huh. I will look into it. I will really look into it. I've been playing Death Gambit.
I think they remastered it several years ago, so I think you've got a newer version that you can get.
Yeah, it's probably on PSN or something like that. Yeah, I've been playing quite a bit of old games on my little Anbernic console. This is
So
what
what's
I've been
the last-
doing.
What's the last game you played?
Death Gambit. Played that yesterday, actually. It's like a Souls-like, but presented in a Metroidvania way, like 2D side-scroller, but with Dark Souls mechanics. I've enjoyed it. It's kind of hard, but well, of course it is because it's Dark Souls inspired.
Yeah.
This is a thing that is annoying me a bit. The Dark Soul. I mean, I love Dark Souls. At least the first game. But difficult games existed before Dark Souls. I know it might be quite earth-shattering fact, but yeah, there were hard games before Dark Souls back in the days.
Ninja Gaiden and Ninja Gaiden Black on the Xbox.
Yeah, I'm a
ODT on the PlayStation and PC.
And indeed, yeah. My favorite example of this is Ninja Gaiden Black. Man, this is hard. I never cleared.
I played the crap out of that game.
Yeah, I'm still playing. I bought the Master Collection a little while ago, and I've been playing that on PS4 quite a bit. And I never got past very hard. I can't do Master Ninja. I just can't. I don't have the reflexes.
Master Ninja. I tried Master Ninja, and when I got to the dinosaur skeleton boss, I was just short of like health restorers. I could almost get him, and he would take me out every time, and I put the controller down, and I just never really got back to that particular spot. I was going to have to reload like an old save or something.
Yeah. Yeah. If you to our listeners, if you want to get into Ninja Gaiden, I will link my favorite YouTube channel of all time, which is JTB123. I know the name doesn't sound really good, but he's been playing Ninja Gaiden for the past 15 years, and there's probably more than 1,000 videos of Ninja Gaiden on his channel.
Wow.
And yeah, and he's been doing very extensive guides to every difficulty, every iterations of the game, like Black and Sigma, and if somebody's listening to this and you say, I would like to try Ninja Gaiden, but I'm not sure I understand and I know how to play this, just go look JTB's channel. He's really a nice guy to listen to. I'm listening to his stuff while I work. I'm not even looking at the gameplay. I use his live streams as a podcast while I work. But anyway, that was the plug.
Well, I've been playing a lot of easier games.
I was just going to ask you, what have you been playing?
Yeah. I guess one of my pet peeves is that everybody thinks that games should be hard. And sometimes I just like to sit down and relax and like do something chill and mellow.
I agree. Games shouldn't be hard. I mean, if the devs want to make a hard game, it should be hard, but not all games should be hard.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
It's nice having some difficult games for when you really like want to get revved up and rah. And also it's really nice having some chill games for when you just need to relax. And so yeah, I've been getting back into Utopia Origins, which it's mostly, for me, it's mostly about the building and the gathering and the grinding. And there's so much that happened when I was offline. So there's so much now about that game I don't know. For example, they put in rockets and you can go to outer space now, and there's an underworld now. And I'm like, whoa, I've never been to any of these areas, so I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, this is the thing with live games.
I don't think I've actually heard of this game. I'm checking it out right now.
Honestly, it's quite niche, I think. Well, at least.
Yeah, it's not well known. It's a very tiny game.
But it's great. You can do so much. I mean, I've tried it. I played for quite some times, actually. But it's very open-ended. It's very sandbox. It's very survival game. And I get lost, and I get what should I do, and I need something to drive me to do stuff. But I can vouch for it. It was enjoyable, and you could climb trees, you could cut trees, you could climb mountains, you could fly, you could swim, you could. It was great. I really enjoyed it. You could do a lot in Utopia.
Yeah.
I'm finding one
Oh.
that's an old Intellivision game, and I'm finding a different one that was a Super Nintendo and Amiga game. What am I missing?
It's Utopia Origins, and it's a mobile game.
Okay.
I mostly do mobile gaming.
Oh,
Yeah. The combat is pretty basic. So, because I've been playing Chimera Land too, and the combat on that is so intricate, and the combat effects in Chimera Land are really, really fun. I should send you some more footage, William, so you can put up some of these.
Yeah, I'll wait for them. Yeah, if you can send me some footage, I'll put them while we talk about it.
Yeah, I got a spear thing that it like you jump up in the air and it flashes this lightning, and there's an axe that you would like whirl around, and so that's a lot of fun to use in combat. Utopia does not have that, but it does have a lot of really pretty building and
costumes. The clothes
costumes.
are
The
great.
clothes they're beautiful.
Yeah. Yep. I usually play male characters in games, but in Utopia I chose a female because the outfits were pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Although I have a guy alt, and some of the guy outfits are really cool too.
Oh, probably, yeah.
And there's a good number of outfits you can get for free too, which is what I really like. Like, one of the things I really hate about Chimera Land is that everything is so paywalled. But in Utopia, it's a lot easier to get things for free. There's a lot of stuff in the shop, a lot of pay stuff. But there's also a large selection that's for the free to play, which is really nice.
So back in Utopia, have you been playing anything else?
I've been trying to finish up the My Time in Portia to the end of the quest line, but it's just so hard because you can't save at any point. And it's so hard finding a chunk when I know I don't have to like maybe put it down and walk away. So I don't play it much.
This is quite a flaw, I think, and on a portable device too. And to come back just a bit on my little emulation machine, what is really, really nice with it is, the old GBA games or Super Nintendo, you could only save at a specific save point. But with those little console, you can create saves anywhere you want. So, of course, some could say it's kind of cheating, but just before a boss, you can just put in a quick save, and if you fail, you just reload that. It takes 1 second, and you're back. Instead of walking from the last save point to the boss. And I think on portable devices, it should be a no-brainer to have a save anywhere feature. It's a weird decision.
I don't know why it would be cheating to just save some walking time.
Well, because sometimes you have some stuff to fight to get to the boss, and it's kind of part of the experience, I guess. Well, yeah, it doesn't bother me. You should play single-player games the way you want to play them. But
exactly.
But some could say like, oh well, the run is not the real run because you saved outside of the save points. But anyway, it's not important right now. Just saying that My Time at Porsche should have a quick save feature.
It really needs it. One day I thought I was going to have a chunk of time to play it, and then things happen, and it ended up sitting on pause until like 10:30 at night, and I'm like, oh my god! Right when I went to bed, I was like, I just remembered. It's still sitting there on pause. And I had to get out of bed, run to the TV, and like finish up my day so I could save it and turn off the TV and the Nintendo. And I was like, "That no, I don't like that."
Yeah, I'm seeing quite a bit of people with Nintendo Switches on my bus ride to work, and you're on the bus, and when you get to your stop, you have to get out, so you have to be able to save your thing before. I've been seeing quite a few people with the Steam Deck too. Have you seen it in the wild?
I mean, I haven't seen it. Most people on the train are using their phones.
Oh yeah, okay. I've seen a few people with a Steam Deck. Man, I'm kind of tempted to get into this, but I kind of don't want to shed out $500 for it. So
Yikes.
yeah, this is. But I like portable gaming so much. I feel it's kind of made for me, but I just no, not right now. That's for sure. Not right now. But I think
Yeah.
it's a great device to get into PC gaming without getting a PC gaming rig.
Maybe the price will come down.
Well, I mean, at some point, I guess. My backlog is so disgusting that if I don't buy any new games in the next 10 years, I won't run out of stuff to play. So I'm in no rush. Yeah, there's so many games nowadays. It's a great problem to have, but it's still a problem. And I have so much. Yeah, go ahead.
I said then there's sometimes you want to go back and replay your old games. If they ever bring the price down on the ports of Otogi, the first and second games, well, the only two games in the series, I'd love to buy them. I think they're like $20 now, and I'm like, man, I already own these on the original Xbox. I'd just like to be able to play them on my new Xbox. But I can get lost in those games. I remember just showing a friend of mine years ago, just the opening cinematic and like the menu, and I went into the pause menu, and he left, and the music was playing, and I was like, I need to turn this off, or I'm going to start playing this, and it will eat me for a week. Like, I got other games I got to play.
That's a good way to describe it. It'll eat you for a week. Yeah, I know games like that.
I'm definitely.
It's From Software. That's the thing. It's a pre-Dark Souls From Software.
Yeah, true.
And they were making good games back then. The graphics are still pretty good, destructible environments, and you can replay any chapter and choose to either restore everything or play it as you left it, meaning anything you destroyed remains destroyed. So they're badass games.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
they are steeped in Japanese mythology.
They always made they made good games from the start, and the whole Armored Core series. I've played that on my PSP back in the day.
I used to play Chromehounds on the Xbox 360 as an early 360 title. Chromehounds was a good time. It was the single player was really just an extended tutorial to unlock parts, and then you go online and you play battles online. Servers are shut down now, but it was a good time when it was alive.
Indeed. I'm very guilty of playing old games instead of the new games I bought because they were on sale and on my wish list. And then I buy them, and then I go back to my old games. This is kind of dumb, but this is what I
Well, it
do.
doesn't help
Yeah.
that they keep. It doesn't help that they keep remastering and re-releasing. I mean, when Atlas said that they were going to re-release the modern Persona games onto like all systems, I was like, okay, because I've got Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden on PSP/Vita,
Yep, same
and
here. And
I played Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal on my PS4. But if they're going to release all of those on the modern systems, I think Microsoft's been really good lately about forwards compatibility, being able to play the games you have now on their next system. And so if I want to
Nice.
keep playing these games, I think I'm going to have to get all three of them on my my Xbox Series X, because I figure whatever the next Xbox system is, they'll probably make it compatible with anything I already own.
I
That's
love
really
Persona
nice.
games. I think Persona 3 might be one of my favorite games of all time.
Oh yeah, no. People will say, "Oh, 4 is great. It has a story." I'm like, yeah. 4 is great, but three was atmospheric. 3 was
Yeah.
groundbreaking, and 3. I mean, not to impugn the other games, because I love the modern Persona games, but 3 didn't have a cutesy mascot.
No, it didn't. No, there was nothing was very, very cute. And, well, some of the protagonists maybe, but, it was very dark. And the whole shooting in your head to bring your persona out was, man, I really, really enjoyed Persona 3. I've played it many, many, many times. And I really enjoyed. Most people didn't, but I really liked the portable version.
Oh no,
I did.
P3P was the single best version, because they borrowed elements from Persona 4's combat system to put in.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
better than Fest. It was better than Fest. Fest was good, but it didn't fix the problem.
I
Also,
wish. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. No, I was just gonna say. Also, the extra story for P3 Fest, the second disc, was kind of shit.
Yeah, it was not very good.
Well, there wasn't a Persona compendium, so you couldn't register any of your guys. The battles were intentionally more difficult. There was just not much of a payoff. Plus, like, everybody had turned into kind of an asshole. Like,
Yeah.
you show up and Yukari's just like a bitch. You're like, Yukari, what the hell? You were so much nicer, like, what was it, 3 months prior in the game time, and now you're just kind of crappy to everybody.
Yeah, it was not that good. In portable, I missed the anime cutscenes. But I didn't miss the walking around. I thought choosing the place you wanted to go on the screen, where you move just your character's dot to say where you want to go. I thought it was better than running around everywhere in town and in the school and stuff like that.
I was okay with the running. I mean, obviously it's a lot more efficient to just move your cursor and go there, but I didn't mind the running because you could get a better look at where you were going. The anime cutscenes, though, I mean, to be honest, they weren't great. The quality of those cinematics was pretty low. And for some weird reason, in the cinematics, all of the characters are like the same height.
Hey,
or
I
at
never.
least approaching it. Yeah, oh my God.
Need to go. Oh man, I need to go watch this again.
You got like Fuka and Junpei, and they're nearly the same height. And you're like, no man, Fuka's a little thing, and Junpei is abnormally tall for a Japanese high schooler, and they all look about the same height in those cinematics. So I was kind of okay with there just being some still shots. I'm like, yeah. Let's just do the still shots. I understand.
Huh. I never. Oh man, I need to go watch this. I'm gonna do that right after we end the podcast, and I think I'm gonna put the footage here so people can see what you're talking about. And I think you're right. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I don't think you're lying or anything, but I can't remember it. But now that I think about it, yeah, maybe, yeah. I never. Oh
See,
man, it's kind of
I'm a
a
serious,
revelation right now. I need to go look.
I'm a serious Persona freak, man. I've got, let's see, I've got all the soundtracks that could be purchased, like through regular channels. Like it's weird for like Persona 4 and 5. Some of the music and the drama stuff is locked. You have to buy the special edition DVD or Blu-rays from Japan in order to get them, which is kind of stupid. But I got the soundtracks. I've got all of the drama CDs for Persona 3 and 4, and there are a lot of those damn things.
I wish they would have localized that in a language I understand.
Yeah, the problem though is that that would have required that would have been hideously expensive, because those are, I mean, they're pretty dense. Like the P4 drama CDs. Let's see, one of them involves the Dojima family buying a new television. That one's not too bad. And the other one, I think the other one is a Valentine's Day episode where Nanako wants to get a Valentine's gift for the protagonist, which is not too bad. Persona 3 has a ridiculous number of drama CDs. I mean, it's a lot, but it fills in a lot of gaps. You know, like a lot of stuff, like when the typhoon passes through, we don't see much of the game. They set a drama CD during the typhoon, or during like some of their test weeks. So there's a whole bunch of extra footage through there. Yep, I got the books. As well.
I just linked. I'll put in the podcast. I still have my my art book for Persona 4 pre-order. I think it's the only game I've ever pre-ordered. Pre-ordered that on PS2.
Amazon had a companion package available only through them for Persona 4 before it came out, that came with a calendar, a little Kuma plush, a yellow and black T-shirt with, I think that just the protagonists, the silhouette of the protagonist's persona. Was it Izanagi? And what the hell else was in there? Maybe like a little promotional soundtrack. It was about $30, and I bought 2 and opened one. The other one I still have sealed, and like even months later, those things were going for like $100, $200 on Amazon resale.
Huh. That's pretty nice. If you have the time and want to send me some pictures of that, I could add them to. If you want,
most of that's back in America. I've got the T-shirt here in Japan with me. I got the T-shirt in Japan, but I've worn it so often that I generally just wear it around the house because it's just painted.
I have those T-shirts too. I have a Steins Gate T-shirt that I only used for my home because it's kind of dead. But yeah.
Now there was a promotional T-shirt too for P4 that was like sort of dark gray and lighter gray. I've still got that. I got that here. I also have a bunch of just like merchandise I found here, like because they pronounce it so poorly in the English dub, but that's the only thing you can get. Chidori's, I think Chidori's notebook. I've got my clock downstairs is Elizabeth's grimoire. I have glasses for all of the male characters from Persona 4. I'm just fashion glasses. Back in the States, I've got little figurines that if you push a button, they say one of 2 different phrases.
Man, someone could say you're like a Persona fan.
Well,
this is great. This is great stuff.
I said that like 5 minutes ago, so yeah.
This is great stuff. I really like Persona. I didn't had the back then when Persona came out. I was I was a musician. I was doing some band recording in music studios and stuff like that, and I was quite poor, so I couldn't buy like a lot of collector stuff. But I would have.
Most of what I've gotten, I have picked up well after the game's release.
Yeah, and I don't have that much room to keep them, so I mean it's fine. But yeah, it's great. Persona is a great franchise. I really like it.
Well, it helped that I worked at GameStop for a while there. So,
Yeah.
and after
True.
that, I still had friends that worked at GameStop. So, promotional items for a while for like Persona 3 Portable was a replica of Junpei's cap, and
wow,
I have a lot of those unworn in storage.
huh.
Like the one I
This
wore
is
has gotten
nice.
to the point that it's worn out, it's faded, it's I had to kind of retire the one I was wearing.
Well, luckily you have lots to replace it.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I get weird about collecting stuff, and I'll go through phases.
All right, so I hope you will be. I'm just saying that we have one last thing to talk about, but I hope you will be able to come back on the podcast. I have a lot of questions about Japan. I would love to make a podcast, a non-gaming podcast episode about some Japanese stuff, and of course we could do a Persona special episode. That could be great, where we go. Where we go deeper into the Persona stuff.
Yep,
yeah, but we also need to settle some important society questions. So this week is cereal soup? No, it's not. Why?
Finally.
Why is it not?
Because part of the deal with soup is that it's a package deal. The broth and the things that you've put in the soup, you can't really have one without the other. If you take the broth away, it's no longer soup. And if you take the other things, the vegetables, the meat, or whatever, it's just broth. Cereal is cereal regardless of whether or not you have it in milk. If you eat it dry or if you pour milk on it, it remains cereal.
Mm. Well, I was going to say, I think it could qualify as a cold soup. But then that argument of, well, if you take it away, you can eat it without. That's a good one. But what about ramen? Is ramen count as a soup? Because I like to eat ramen noodles crunchy out of the package.
I know a few people that does that. I can't. We have here a great ramen place, like owned by Japanese people, and yeah, this is very, very, very nice. You have the real, well, as real as it can be, I guess, outside of Japan.
I think the deal with
this is
ramen
nice. I went there quite a few times. I'll try to remember to post a pic
flavor
of
the ramen.
Of the last one I
technically,
got.
what you're doing is you're eating the ramen.
But they're
like in Japan, the verb they use for soup is the same verb they use for medicines and liquids. Basically, anything that you ingest by swallowing, they have a verb for that. But for ramen, they use the verb for to eat. So like when you finish, when you finish your ramen, you don't actually have to finish the broth, and a lot of people will leave the broth behind because that's not what they're there for. The broth is there to flavor the ramen, but technically the ramen is what you eat.
So ramen technically does not count as soup.
It does not.
I would say it does not.
Wow.
Well, we've settled two important questions.
This is settled.
And the stuff that you guys are getting in America, it's not that it doesn't taste good, but it is a pale imitation. Once you had the real thing, the packaged stuff in the stores, it just, especially the cup ramen in America,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. First time I tried Japanese cup ramen, I was like, oh God, this is what American cup ramen used to taste like. This is exactly what I used to have when I was a kid. And over the years, it's just gotten cheaper and watered down.
Mm.
Again, it doesn't taste bad. But once you've had the real thing, you're like even just cup ramen, once you've had the real thing, you're like, I don't want American cup ramen ever again. It's not the same anymore.
Huh.
That's
Yeah, it
interesting
is.
because I actually had ramen last night that I made with broth that I made myself, and it was really
Yeah,
good.
of course. Yeah, when you made it yourself, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and from made myself, I mean, I used the bones of a leftover roast
Mhm.
chicken, and I made the broth.
See, it doesn't sound too bad though. That sounds good.
All
It
right.
was
So
good.
that question is settled. One very, very last thing before I know it's super late in Japan right now. So
Yeah, it's cool. I'm not going to bed for a little while.
there's just one thing I forgot. I need to start doing this. We have some people sometimes left comments on our latest podcast episode. Well, mostly Zach Raya from Old Man Gaming, which is a channel you should all go subscribe to. And I'm gonna read the comment he gave us for our last episode. That is from more than 1 month ago. So we'll see if we can remember what we talked about. So Zach said, "Hello, great podcast again. I want to say Mellow Yellow is my favorite soda, but that would be sticky. So I'm going to go with bubbly seltzer water." As I enjoy that. I think it was a reference of our latest important society question that was, if rain wasn't water, what would you want it to be?
Oh, right.
The sentence you had trouble with was basically just restating that big companies have no checks in the gaming industry. We were talking about games ownership and that you don't really own your games anymore, since even when you buy the disc, you have a 100 gig download to get the game running. So yeah. After that, about my time at Porsche, in Porsche. I loved my time in Porsche. I actually put it down because of the saving issue. So I understand that. We talked about that again today. Seems it's really annoying. I actually liked it a bit more than started because it's a bit more player forward with alerts and stuff happening to you instead of having to seek it out myself. How long to beat, the website where you can go look and see if how long is a game, is actually partner with Microsoft now. When you go into Game Pass and click on one of your games, it gives you all the info right under the install button. At least on PC, it's awesome. Thanks again for the podcast. Hashtag water is probably best for the raining stuff. So thank you very much, Zach, for commenting. Sorry, I didn't do it in the beginning. I think starting from now, we're gonna start with reading the comments from the latest podcast to be sure we do it.
Sounds good.
Anything to add before we say goodbye?
Not for me.
All right.
I had a good time.
Yeah, it was super interesting, super fun. I do hope you're gonna come back in another podcast. And I'm gonna put the link of your YouTube channel and blog and all the stuff you've sent me. I'm gonna put it all in the description of the video.
Yeah, not just blog.
What is?
Not just blog. I got two. I got my old Japan blog and my not quite so old gaming blog.
Yeah. How are they called again? Just to plug them one last time.
Well, the blog and the YouTube channel are both called One Man in Japan. My gaming blog is The Way I Game, and the blogs are both the titles .wordpress.com.
Oh, this was a great voice. Made me think of. Do you know the dude that reads the honest game trailers on YouTube? He's reading stuff with an awesome voice, kind of like what you did.
Well, think he's probably doing the movie voice,
Yeah, probably.
in a world.
Yeah,
that sort of
exactly.
thing,
It's exactly that. Yeah, and he's doing some weird trailer where he kind of laughs at the games. Anyway, it's enough. We're gonna say goodbye now. Thank you for coming to talk games with me, and thanks to everybody who's watching this up until this point.
See you later.
That's all I have. See you. Thank you. Bye.